Perfect. Okay, we're good. Alright, let's just get started. I'll try to explain things as I go. So this is a skips category. 11 out of the 16 tracks have pretty glitchy shortcuts in them. Like I said, I'll try to show off all of them. Some of them are pretty difficult. Some of them you can only try like once or twice before having to go around slowly. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But I will give a countdown if Tesla's ready. Start from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So the very first thing it is zoom out the camera. That reduces a bit of lag. And for my preference, it's a lot easier to play. Okay, so Luigi Raceway. Luigi Raceway has a neat little skip in it where we can get a blue shell and jump over a wall. It only works if I'm in first place, so if any of the computer players screw me over, then I can't really attempt it anymore. Because I'm going to try to get the blue shell that hangs off of the Luigi hot air balloon and shoot myself with it. Because this item box will always have a blue shell in it. I'll line myself up. It's kind of tricky to get this in 150. There we go. The balloon is kind of timed so it runs into you perfectly if you're running on 100cc, but when you're in 150 you have to slow down a bit. I'm just going to use this. We're going to shoot myself. I'm going to fall over the wall, hopefully, if it goes correctly, and I'll skip half the lap. And I miss. That's okay. Like I said, that one's really tricky. You have to be able to drift at like the exact moment to be able to go over the wall. And if you go too far, you can actually get shot over the track and land in the water. And then by that point, it's not even worth it anymore. But you'd land down here in this tunnel. It shaves off a good like 15 seconds. There's actually a much faster way of beating this stage that's only possible on the Japanese version of the game for some reason. And you can beat the stage in like under a minute, I think. But it requires you to get triple red shells. Like you have to go backwards at the beginning of the game and get triple red shells and shoot yourself over the wall 3 times. But that is definitely not marathon safe. So Moo Farm and Koopa Troopa Beach are 2 stages that actually don't have any glitch shortcuts in them. This stage doesn't have any shortcuts at all, so it's kind of boring. Koopa Troopa Beach has a couple shortcuts that were actually built into the game, so those aren't really counted as skips, per se. In the no skips category, you're actually allowed to use those shortcuts. Just because they're kind of... I guess they're shortcuts rather than skips. If you want to be picky on your definitions. But this is skips, so I'm going to use them anyway. Ooh, that was close. That green shell was... I shot that green shell on the first lap, and since I actually shot the green shell backwards, that wouldn't have hit me, even if it were, like, actually on top of me. I guess the programmers decided that in order to prevent green shells from, like, running into you as soon as you threw them backwards, they just made them, like, intangible to you. So no matter what, you can't get hit by your own green shells if you throw them backwards. So even though that looked like a really close call, I wasn't in any danger. Just a neat little fact. That was actually discovered recently, given how long this game has been out. Also, you can shoot your items from this screen. I think it's pretty cool. Ooh, I hit myself. On lap 4. Now, this track doesn't have any skips, but it does have a little trick that is also allowed in the no skips category. I'm going to attempt it. I'm not very particularly good at it. Ooh, nice spin out immediately. I'm not particularly good at it. It requires you to get an item and have the item roulette, like, continue rouletting and finish rouletting right as you pass over a certain polygon on the floor. It's like a glitched polygon right next to the finish line, and the game makes you think that you're actually in 8th place. No, I didn't get it that time. I can try it the next lap. But for that split moment, that 1 second that you're over that polygon, you can actually get an item as if you were in 8th place. Which means you can get a star or mushrooms, which are really useful for a track that doesn't have any shortcuts in it. No skips, I should say. Nope, didn't get it again. Sometimes the little number on the bottom left can actually change to an 8, but it didn't. That means I missed it by quite a bit, actually. Let's see. Yeah, this is the into this tunnel. This is built-in shortcut. I'm actually surprised I got it all 3 times. I usually miss it at least once. Alright, Calamari Desert. So this stage is very interesting. It actually has... It's kind of confusing. There's the train tunnel, the tunnel that the train goes through. And if you've messed around this stage before, if you take the, like, if you drive on the train tracks and try to, like, cross the finish line, or, try to finish a lap by going through the tunnel, it doesn't work. However, the game is specifically coded in so that if you take a star through the tunnel, it will work. But we can, like, kind of, take advantage of that by getting a star, going backwards through the tunnel, and then turning around, turning the star on, and going around. Also, this is very bad luck. The golden mushroom is the worst item to get when you're sandbagging like this, just because it takes forever to go away. There we go, that's what I wanted. Alright, so it looks like I'm really far behind computer players, but I'm actually going to be able to skip forward a lap, so I'm not in any danger. The only stage I'm in danger of not getting a finishing place is Toad's Turnpike, because that skip is, for some reason, it's so difficult for me to pull off, and it's so frustrating, because it's not hard. Alright, so we're going to go into this tunnel. We're going to pass the finish line. If you look at the mini-map, okay, now I'm past the finish line. Turn on the star and come back through, and now I've finished the lap. I guess they didn't really think that you could go backwards. It's a nice train. At this point, I don't know if that was much faster than doing the level normally, just because of how long I had to wait for an item. But that's fine. And then we reset right after we finish the cup, because we don't need to see that ceremony. I've seen it a million times. Alright. Wish me luck. I'll try my best. If I mess up too much, I'm just gonna drive this normally. So you can actually just easily just jump into the guardrail and get stuck. And we got it. Nice. Alright. We're good. Alright, now I can explain what happened. So you can jump over the guardrail, and the grass is out of bounds area. So if you land in the grass, the black 2 will come pick you up. That giant wall outside of the grass is actually not touchable. You can go right through it, which means you can actually just jump through that wall and fall underneath to the lower section of the track. Now, that skips a half lap, but I mess with the checkpoints in such a way that every time I just jump into the out of bounds area after I finish the lap, Black 2 gets confused and puts me down at the halfway mark of the next lap, even though I didn't have to jump down. And in order to do that, you just have to jump in a certain spot directly above the stage below when you fall down. If you are too early or too late, you can land in the water, and then the checkpoints won't be set up in such a way that you can do that. But I got it, which is amazing because I'm terrible at this shortcut. This was one of my favorite courses as a kid, just because I liked driving around with the big cars, and then mirror mode especially. It was fun. It was like actually difficult to play, but now it's like one of my least favorite stages, just because it's so frustrating. Alright, so I actually got a gold split on that stage. I don't think I've done that skip that well before. Let's see what is next. Alright, FRAPPE SNOWLAND. It's gonna be hard to explain this glitch because it goes by so quickly. So, TLDR, Lap 2 gets confused and puts you ahead a whole lap when you do this. It just has to do with the way the checkpoints are laid out to make sure you're like completing the stage in the right order, and not cutting and taking shortcuts of your own. I actually missed it that time. But if you jump from this bridge to the snow, and then just pass the finish line and then drive out of bounds, you skip a lap. Like, this shortcut is so easy, anybody can do it. And there we go, I'm in first. And then as I pass the finish line, and now I'm on the second lap. If you're fast enough, you can actually finish this whole stage before the computer players even get around to finishing the first lap. And that's FRAPPE SNOWLAND. Some of the best music in the game, but you don't get to hear it very much, but don't worry. Sherbetland is a non-shortcut course, and you get to hear all of the music. Alright, Choco Mountain has a very difficult skip in it. I'll try it once or twice. I'll keep trying for it until I miss it, basically. You can just do a giant wall jump and skip the, like, curly Q end of this track. But this is a stage where the shortcut doesn't save that much time. Yeah. I'll go for the backup once, because the backup is also not very, yeah, I'm just gonna go around. This is another stage where if you spend too long trying to get the shortcuts, and then get the shortcut, it doesn't even make up all the time that you lost attempting it. And I'm gonna play it safe and just go around. Wall jumps are actually particularly difficult in this game. They're not... It's weird. They're not hard. All you have to do is press the R button when you get near the wall. But sometimes the frame of the window that lets you actually jump can be less than one frame, just because of how the speed and positioning stuff updates during one frame. So even though you might be perfect at hitting the R button exactly one frame before you hit the wall, sometimes even one frame is too much of a gap. So Mario, I think Mario just fell out of bounds there. I can explain that. So this game obviously has rubber banding. If you've ever played it, you know that the computer players will go super fast when they're super far behind. The way that is handled is that if the computer player is not rendered, like if you can't see him, then he's rendered invisible, and the computer player can drive through walls and drive over air and everything. And they can actually go faster than a car can normally drive. There, Luigi, you just saw that. You saw Luigi drive through the floor when that happened. So if I said that the computer players can fall through the floor, or like drive through walls and drive over air, well, if you catch them doing that, basically if they get rendered while that happens, then they just fall through the floor. And so I actually saw that twice in that stage. This stage has a shortcut that lets you jump over a wall if you have mushroom, and I sandbagged for triple mushrooms, and I didn't get them. So I'm just gonna go around. Let's see if I can get a single mushroom here. Attempt it once. It's also really difficult, so I wasn't too disappointed that I didn't get it. There's a handful of these skips actually require you to get a certain item before you can actually perform the skip, which makes RTA runs kind of frustrating when you're on a good run and then the game just decides, nope, we're not going to give you a mushroom. It's especially frustrating when the chance of getting that item is extremely high and you still don't get it. You'll see that in Rainbow Road. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. This is the last track of the Flower Cup. I'm going to do a reset after finishing the course. And on to the Star Cup. So Wario Stadium has one of the easier shortcuts. This is... Okay, FRAPPE SNOWLAND is probably easier than this, but this one's easy too. At least the first part. So you just do a wall jump, and this wall jump is extremely easy, as I say, and get completely screwed. Alright, let's back up and do that again. There we go. So that skips a good portion of the track. This one's a little more difficult, just because of the angle, but you can still jump over it. So this course can actually be finished in like less than 20 seconds if you're able to get all these on the first try. But for RTAs, anything under, like, if you're really good, anything under 20 or 30 seconds is good. For me, anything under like 45 is good. Whoa, that was weird. That last jump is also really hard because you can actually land on the out of bounds area, the brown like the brown dirt to the right. And if you land on that, Lag 2 pick you up and put you down. Then you have to get into position again. Alright, so for all of you who wanted to listen to the snowy music, it's back. You can sing to your heart's content. Sometimes you just have to let it all out. This is also... So I used to hate this course when I was little just because it's slippery and these penguins are just annoying. They keep going back and forth. But it's actually turned out to be one of my favorite courses in those shortcut runs. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the fact that the road is really wide and it's easy to do these mini turbos in a straight area. The task of this game actually is able to pull off a shortcut in this stage. It involves jumping off of a computer player to land on the island in the middle of the lake. And by landing on the island in the middle of the lake and then falling in the water, you can actually get Lag 2 to push you ahead one lap, kind of like FRAPPE SNOWLAND. But not very RTA viable. It'd be very hard to try to jump off a CPU as he's driving directly toward you. I'll actually attempt a CPU jump in Rainbow Road. The reason why I do that in Rainbow Road is because it's at the very beginning of the course, so the computer player is always in the same spot, so there's actually a setup for it. But it also requires a certain heavyweight to actually get second place in the stage before, so that the starting lineup is correct. So we'll be rooting for the heavyweights on Banshee Boardwalk. It's sometimes Banshee Boardwalk is one of the most like interesting and intense part of the runs, even though it's a non-shortcut course, just because you're like watching the minimap and watching the computer players battle it out for second place, and you really want Wario to win. But Peach is just like, nope, and she'll take second place right at the end, and then run over. That was a really good bounce. So, by hitting a certain polygon on that, the end of that river over there, actually, like, triggers the checkpoint as if you were on the other side of the river, and when you fall off that giant ramp, and, like, say you miss going over the river and you land on that giant green hill or whatever, Black 2 will put you back up right before the ramp, and by landing in this certain spot, it just tricks Black 2 to thinking that you actually were on the ramp. And so you just skip a bunch of this. I'm gonna attempt the shortcut that saves absolutely no time, or the skip, I should say. The skip that saves like less than 0.2 seconds on the third lap, since this was a pretty good Royal Raceway, just to see if I can get it. It saves more time in time trials than 100cc. But in 150 it's barely worth it. But I'll go for it. As long as the computer player doesn't get in my way. Oh, I might have gotten it. Oh, Luigi. Hey, we got it. Luigi, don't get in my way. Peach, what are you doing? Computers are your worst friends in this game. You can see 35, 35, 35. Like, even though I got that shortcut, it didn't save much time at all. In fact, since I hit the green part of the hill before falling in the water, it probably lost time, but I showed it off. Alright, Bowser's Castle is a non-shortcut course, and it's also very frustrating because the stage itself is just not good for driving. And you got these thwomps in the way. These thwomps are on a cycle, so if you are a good driver and can not mess up like that, then you know where all the thwomps are going to be. Oh, sorry, Toad. I just pushed him off. You would know where all the thwomps are going to be, and it makes it easy. Well, I already messed up, so thwomps could literally be anywhere. I don't know. I have to make a split decision when I come into the room that they're in. Also, I'm going to destroy DK if he doesn't let me get in first here. Oh, I thought he was going to move. Don't crush me. Now that was teamwork. I haven't seen that kind of teamwork come out of these guys in forever. So I guess at this point I should mention that the category is all cups, so you just have to get gold in all the cups. You don't have to actually get first place in every race. You just have to get first place in the cup. And I'm pretty sure I've clinched first place after getting first in all the other three. That always comes up when I am doing a run and I don't get first place. So like, oh, you didn't get first. You gotta reset. But we're lenient. People who run this game know that sometimes computer players can just cheat or just do that again. So remember, what was it? Choco Mountain, where Luigi fell out of bounds. Well, DK just did that and I was able to catch up. And then he threw a banana at me because I was making fun of him. Oh, but Mario's gonna get first. It's such an intense race. Oh, dude! I win! As long as I don't choke. We're good. I did it. See? Now, imagine that kind of thing, but with only the computer players. That's how Banshee Boardwalk is gonna be. Alright, so you see I picked Toad for Special Cup. Okay, and this question also comes up all the time, and I'll answer it. Which character is the best character to pick? And the answer is Yoshi, because Yoshi, Peach, and Toad are all equal. They're all lightweights. They have the exact same stats. So, for driving, all of those three people are exactly the same. However, Toad is just a little bit lighter in the, like, weight attribute. Which doesn't matter when you're driving. Also, I missed this twice in a row. But, if you're doing a CPU jump, the lighter you are, the farther you go. So, I'm going to do a CPU jump in Rainbow Road. I'll pick Toad, because he's lighter. I missed it 3 times. I can attempt this like 15 times and still get first, that's okay. Oh dude, and I got a star, nice. That'll help on the last lap. But we usually pick Yoshi in RTA runs because he's closest to the menu. When you first go to the character select screen, Yoshi's the closest one to pick. So what I'm doing here is I'm clipping halfway in bounds and halfway out of bounds, so I can trigger the finish line by being on the right side of the wall, but I can also just fall in bounds to the left and basically skip the entire lap. Also, this might be too far to the left. Oh no, I got it. Alright. And I got the star, so we can just finish like so. I personally prefer Yoshi because his sound effects that he makes when he does mini turbos and stuff like that aren't as annoying. But that's just me. Alright, so I'm gonna try a shortcut that was just found out like within the past month. And it has to do with going the long way. I know that's kind of weird, we're doing a skip by going the long way. But it's a thing. And it particularly works in this course just because there's so many different ways you can go, and by going the long way, you're confusing the game. It doesn't know where you are on the track. Oh, that's way too far to the right. Okay. There we go. And that only works when you take the far right path. Like, if you take the fast path and try to do that jump, it just doesn't work. It just has to do with how the game tracks what place you're in, and it does that by detecting how far you've driven. And the long path makes the game think that, oh, you've gone further around the course, you must be closer to the finish line. And then, since I got this mushroom, I'm going to do the old strat, which was what we used to do. And it required you to get triple shrooms at the very start, which is relying on RNG even more. But you can just jump over that fence in a certain way, and it like makes you think that you did the whole lap. Alright, here's the best part of the run, is rooting for the computer players. Let's see, I've got Peach, DK, Wario, and Bowser. Alright, so it looks like we've got some heavyweights at the front. We just have to hope Peach messes up somehow. DK immediately falls behind. I've gotten really good at playing this course without actually looking at the road, just because I pay attention to the minimap and the computer players' placements over on the left. Because sometimes, if you notice on the minimap that a heavyweight is in 3rd place and it's really close between 3rd and 2nd, you can sometimes like sit here at the finish line and like hope that they pass them before you finish. Because I am spinning out all over the place. Because the placements that the computer players get are actually determined as soon as you finish. Like, it doesn't simulate the computer players actually finishing the race or anything. It just kind of says, okay, well, everybody was in this place when you finished, so that's how it's gonna be. Come on, Wario. Man, Wario's pretty far behind. Use use this mushroom. I was gonna save this for later. Oh, jeez, okay. Clip the wall a little bit. That's okay. It was all part of the manipulation to get the heavyweights in second. See, now Wario's in first, which means I'll be in second. Actually, I can smash Peach if I can get it to Peach. Oh, and I got a star. Oh, I missed her. Oh, wait, she's back. I missed her again. Actually, I'm not even... Wario's going to get in first, and I'm going to not even be able to do this. I paid too much attention to destroying Peach. I didn't actually win the race. That's okay. So you can also do the setup if you get into third and a heavyweight gets into fourth place. That's kind of more difficult to do. I did the wrong manipulation by falling in the water. I was close though. That's okay. You get to see the infamous Rainbow Road jump. Hopefully that I can get. I think I went too far. Yep, a little bit too far. I'm too used to doing this on time trials. You have to jump really early. Alright, I'm gonna try to catch up. If I can get a green shell, which is an item that you can only get when you're near the beginning, like near first place, I'll be able to do skip. Blue shell's not gonna help me though. I can hopefully get the computer players to slow down. Hey, another one. I'll take it. That was weird. I don't even know what happened there. That chain chomp, like, usually you go flying in the air. That time I did not. Alright, get me in the first here. Yeah, that chain chomp knew what to do. Alright, now I need a green shell. Not a red shell. Get that out of here. So now a red shell, I don't remember the percentage on getting a red shell, but it's like a pretty decent chance. And there are so many item boxes between here and the skip that, like, when you're on a really good run and you just keep getting bananas over and over again, or just missing the item box, it gets pretty frustrating. I think I have 2 more item boxes that I can get a green shell in. Nope. If I don't get a green shell here, I have to do another lap because then I won't be able to get a green shell since the computer players are going to have passed me. Nope. Alright, we're doing another lap. Hopefully I can get this now. Try not to jump too early. Did I get it this time? Ah, just a little bit too far. This was a pretty good run too until Rainbow Road happened. Well, at least I'm not as far behind as I was in the first lap. That gives me more chances for green shells. And if I don't get green shells again, I have to do another lap. And it just so happens Rainbow Road is the longest course. So, missing just the one skip makes it like you lose a whole minute or so. Don't need red shells. Okay. I tried to hit Luigi and he just hit a banana. Oh my gosh, I've gotten a single green shell. Anybody a statistics person? I want to figure out what given that the chance of getting a green shell on first is, let's say, 40%. I don't know what it is exactly. Let's say it's 40%. What are the chances this happens? That you get green shell on the... I don't know how many item boxes I got. 7? Whoops. Alright, now I have... Since the computer players are so close to me, I have 1 attempt at this skip. Where I mess it up, and I have to do the whole lap again. I'm gonna slow down. Sometimes the computer players can get in your way, so I might just wait for them to all move, get past me. I'll wait for 6th place. go. Alright, that works. I'll take it. So by jumping over the wall, again, it's very similar to FRAPPE SNOWLAND, where you just kind of pass the finish line, like 2 puts you behind it. And that's it. Time is up. See, now imagine how that run would have gone if I got a 13-second lap on lap 2. But yeah, that was actually a really good run for me. I was a minute ahead going into Rainbow Road, and then I choked. But that is Mario Kart 64. The most of the skips in Mario Kart 64. Got a majority of them. We can watch the ceremony if we want, or not. Like I said, we've probably all seen this a million times.
Thank you so much, Dotsarecool, for be sure to follow on Twitch, guys. That was actually insane. All the skips were, I can never do those.